Shabbat, hello?
Hello, my name is Samuel Ronan. I am a constituent of Steve Shabbat's. I was wondering, is he currently on the congressional floor debating the repeal and reform?
I'm sorry, sir. Your phone is breaking up. Can you say that one more time?
I said, is Congressman Steve Shabbat currently on the floor debating the repeal of the Affordable Care Act and the replacement?
I do not know the congressman's schedule, sir, so I don't know.
This is his office, correct?
Sorry?
This is his DC office, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you don't know his schedule?
I'm not the scheduler. I'm the staff assistant here in the office. I just handle tours and the flag request.
Excellent. Could you please put me in touch with someone who could let me know what his schedule is? Thank you.
I'll see if she's available. If you please hang on. Are you still there?
Yes, sir.
I'd appreciate you holding a second. She's currently on the phone, but I'd be more than happy to take a message and pass it along.
Well, it's not something that I want to deliver a message for. I would like to speak to the congressman himself, if at all possible, or his chief of staff. That's what I'm trying to get a hold of.
Okay, well, you can make a meeting request with the congressman on our website at shabbathouse.gov.
Sure, I could do that, but I guess I should repeat myself. My name is Samuel Ronan. I am one of the former candidates for the DNC chair. I do have the ear of quite a few of the national DNC members. I am also one of his constituents. I will be his opponent in Congress in 2018. I haven't decided whether or not I will be running as a Republican or a Democrat, but suffice to say, he will want to listen to me directly if he is available, or you could at least put me in touch with his chief of staff and he can relay this message to him as well. Currently, we have my entire social media following watching, which consists of quite a few thousand in of itself, plus however many others would be watching due to their efforts. So I would again insist that you try a little harder for me to get into contact with him.
Okay, sir, if I could just get a quick contact number or an email or something, I'll be more than happy to add that to the message. I'll give to the scheduler and the congressman.
Thank you, sir. My phone number is 740 974 4303. And an email that you can reach me at is sam@ourvoiceusa.org.
Sam at
USA.
ourvoiceusa.org.
Yes, sir. Now, before you hang up and relay this message, do you not have supervision at your office currently available?
I can see if someone else is available. If you want to give me 1 second, sir, I'll try one more time.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your help.
No problem, sir. Can you just spell your last name for me? I just want to make sure I get this perfect.
Sure. I'll use military alphanumerics. Romeo, Oscar, November, Alpha, November.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
All right, 1 second, sir. Mr. Ronan?
Sir.
All right, so my supervisor is actually currently in a meeting. as well. So I'll just make sure to pass on your message to the appropriate people here in the office.
All right, then if it is going to be relayed as a message, I would also like to add one more thing to that message.
Okay.
And please write it down verbatim. So I can wait until you have a pen and paper.
I've been taking your message down while we've been talking, sir.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, sir. So, my message to Steve Shabbat is he needs to vote against the repeal of the Affordable Care Act and against the replacement that the Republican Party has perpetrated upon the American people. If he supports both the repeal and this particular replacement, he will have enacted an abject act of terrorism against the American people, and that such an act against the American people is unacceptable by myself, by his constituency, and by anyone who has any sort of moral compass. He has voted on the wrong side of history each and every single time while he has been in office, which has been to the detriment of not just his constituency, but the American people at large. And I, for one, do not appreciate it. And if this kind of thing were to happen to Americans from a foreign entity, or if foreign powers were doing this to their own people, we, the United States of America, would either invade and remove such persons from power, or attack such countries who would attempt to subvert and attack the American people in such a manner. The reason I say such harsh things is because the repeal and the replacement of the Affordable Care Act, as it stands and as presented, will fundamentally negatively impact and possibly deliberately kill 1/4 of the population of the United States. It will adversely affect the least of us, the weakest of us, the most vulnerable of us. That is not who we are as a country.
Okay, sir. Can you repeat the last part? I just wanted to make sure I got that down.
The vulnerability part?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So, if you support this repeal and replacement, you will be negatively impacting the weakest, the sickest, and those that are most vulnerable of us. And that is not who we are as a country.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You as well, sir.
My leadership team of Our Voice is not going to appreciate what I'm about to do because they have not had a chance to prepare. As of this moment, I am running for Congress 2018. I am an effective, active candidate for Congress. And I'm going to personally come after Steve Shabbat, who has consistently voted on the wrong side of history. Look up his Wikipedia page. It is a caricature of corruption and evil and cruelty. That is something I will not abide, something I cannot abide, something that we will not abide. The question remains, though, will I run as a Democrat or a Republican? Now, there's reasons to do both. For one, if I run as a Democrat, I stay true to at least part of my ideals and convictions because we do have some progressive-leaning policies. However, this is a very gerrymandered district in Steve Shabbat's favor, and thus I would be at a weakened state starting right off. On the other hand, running as a Republican would allow me to confront Steve Shabbat directly. And I think many of you know, I do not like to mince words or beat around the bush. I like to attack things head on, directly, deliberately, in the face of the thing that is causing the problem. There's also another reason to go as a Republican. If I were to get endorsements, it would actually follow up with support in the form of money, resources, and volunteerism. Again, this is a gerrymandered district, so if I want a best chance of winning, it would be to challenge him and overthrow him in the primaries. I've also said that Our Voice will run candidates on either ticket to challenge incumbents, predominantly and primarily. So I would be remiss and a hypocrite if I wasn't willing to do the same thing. So I am leaning towards running on a Republican ticket with an unapologetic progressive message. One of universal health care, one of universal education, one of a state-sponsored jobs reform, where we will train our people to go and get these skills and to get these trades and work with companies so that there is incentives to hire, so that we do not have these atrocious unemployment policies and processes in place, so that we aren't just fighting over minimum wage positions, that we are actually filling the needs that our country and our cities and our states require. But so too will I fight for a wage cap, not just a minimum wage. I will fight for tax reform to eliminate loopholes. I will fight for clean energy reform because Ohio is uniquely poised to be able to be a leader in the country, no less, for clean energy to include solar. We have the infrastructure ready to go. That's the sad reality. I will also undermine Kasich's efforts to unfund poor communities and help offer some federal support to disenfranchised communities to help them grow again. We will invest in our infrastructure. We will invest in high-speed rail. We will invest in legalizing marijuana, but not just for recreational use, but for medicinal and hemp, i.e. industrial use. I will be the antithesis to everything Steve Chabot stands for, and I will do so with the poise and calm that I have shown, but the fury and the fire that I possess, and that I have also bore witness to during my DNC races and the forums that I participated in, and the CNN debate that I held, or that I was a part of. I also feel that as a Democrat, I might not be able to necessarily call him to the debate stage, as the former candidate for Congress in the Democratic primary, or rather who got the Democratic nomination for Congress, was unable to bring him to the debate stage, let alone back to the state of Ohio. So I think as a Republican, that gives me a little bit more clout and ability, justification, to drag him back here to his constituents to face them, eye to eye, man to man, like a leader should. So I highly doubt I'll get a phone call back, and it is unfortunate that I was not able to get the congressman on the phone to tell him to his face that his actions, while serving, mind you, as a member of Congress representing the American people, has been nothing short of a direct attack and assault and affront on the American people's liberties, on their freedoms, and their livelihoods, which by definition, causing all of that fear and heartache and worry. Will I be able to put food on the table? Will I keep a roof over my head? Will I be able to keep my job? If that isn't instilling fear to the masses deliberately for political gain, then I don't know what is. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the exact definition of a terrorist, of terrorism at large. We want to fight the war on terror, and we go over to the Middle East and bomb Syria, which is embroiled in the middle of a civil war. We destabilize Iraq and Afghanistan. We allow Iran to do its thing, Saudi Arabia to do its thing, and yet the terrorists are here in our own lands, in our own country. They just happen to have the name congressman and senator next to their names. That title. And yes, some of them are R's and some of them are D's. And not all of them are at the federal level. Some of them are governors. Some of them are state representatives and state senators. Some of them are mayors and sheriffs. And all of them have perpetrated a crime against humanity in our country. Because if these people had done those things against other people in other countries, we would have invaded. We would have put a stop to it. We would have made a humanitarian intervention. Now, granted, that might have also been predicated on whether or not they had oil, but that's a different discussion. We, the people, cannot stand for nor tolerate these indiscretions any longer. I will not stand for these indiscretions any longer. I will take action. I will fight tooth and nail, give my last breath and shed my last drop of blood to fight for you and to fight against this blatant, absolute, heinous, atrocious act of terrorism. I don't know how else to phrase it. Corruption doesn't do it justice. Hate and evil doesn't do it justice. And yet that is what we face. So I ask you all, who may be watching, who will watch, please support me as I run for Congress. I haven't decided yet which party I will run under, but there are strengths and merits to choosing either. And in the state of Ohio, running as an independent is not necessarily feasible. So I apologize in advance for not just simply running as an independent. That being said, whichever party I choose to run under, believe it, it is my choice. I am no one's slave. I am no one's lackey. I will not have anyone put me under their heel or put their thumb on top of me. If I run as a Democrat and the DNC wishes to help me, I will welcome their assistance. I will not bend. I will not sway. I will not bow. And if I choose to run as a Republican and the RNC chooses to endorse and support me, the same goes for you, except tenfold, 100-fold, because you are the perpetrators of this corruption and of this cruelty, and the spin doctors that have messaged this propaganda machine to the American people for decades. You are my biggest enemy, and you are the single greatest threat to this country as it stands. Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, Ted Cruz, all of you. I am coming for all of you, deliberately. And when I win in 2018, and when I make it onto the congressional floor, there will be retribution. There will be a reckoning. And the American people will know you for the cowards and the cold-hearted bastards that you are, because I will make sure of it. I will highlight your darkest, deepest, evil, innermost self, and I will put it on blast under a bright light for the American people to see that you cannot hide or bulk from, because you are cowards and you hide behind your rhetoric. You hide behind your spin and your propaganda. I will not allow it. I will hold you accountable, and I will bring you to heel. That is my promise to you, but also to the American people, that you deserve someone to fight for you directly, without shame, without fear, or without any sort of apology. That is the kind of leader you need, not just in Congress, but all across the spectrum. And I will support candidates up and down the ballot. If I choose to run as a Republican, I will support Democratic candidates or independent candidates in my district, because the likelihood of a Republican growing a spine and a conscience is very, very unlikely. So have no fear. I haven't sacrificed anything. I am going to hold both parties accountable. I will hold both counties responsible for their actions. And I will continue to bolster our voice, the organization that I started right after the DNC race, when I realized that the gaps and the holes that exist in our civic engagement capabilities will continue to grow and continue to fester. So I will continue to run as our voice. I will continue to build that organization. I will continue to support it and proliferate it as far and wide as I can. I ask for your support in both. And if you choose to donate, I don't care which one you do, whether it's to my congressional race or to our voice. Either way, you support the movement. And the movement is populism, but populism for the right reasons. To give people power back in their government when it is so woefully gone and misrepresented as it is. So with that, thank you for watching.